Hello again. In this week's review, I'd have to say that the entire week overall has been it's been a bit. I have been asking myself quite a few questions that I still have yet to answer, and just it's just difficult. I want to answer all these questions, but it's hard to. Sometimes I can't answer them on my own, and it seems like by some either coincidence or just outright fate, I can't even. It's becoming extremely difficult to actually talk to one of my best friends and probably one of the only people I actually trust with a lot of these deeper questions. I've been trying to open up about this type of stuff, and I've been deciding who to do it to. Definitely not my mom. I want to do it with another friend of mine, but he's awfully busy, so it's hard to do that. And I find it incredibly difficult to do it with my dad because, well, he is incredibly overbearing and honestly a little scary. Even though I know he's not much to be feared because he really is just a lot like me, or I take after him unknowingly. Those are, I guess, my only real problems that have persisted throughout the week since the last video. I haven't actually had all that many problems when it comes to the goals I'm setting for myself, though, in terms of procrastination and just oops, uh, setting a schedule to properly do things. It helps a lot of the time. A lot of the time, I'm still doing it based off of compulsion, but if I end up setting a schedule for what I want to do, it works out better. I actually do hold myself to it. Unlike with compulsion, where I can just straight quit in the middle of it. And I am going to start, I'm going to expand how I do it. Currently, the division of labor in the house kind of sits like half and half with me and my mom. And one example of that would be the dishes. Not necessarily that we take turns doing dishes, but rather she washes and uh, puts them on the drying rack as well as puts them in the dishwasher, and then I put all the dishes up. It's my job to basically organize the entirety of the kitchen. And she doesn't have a set schedule on how she washes dishes because why would you? It's just do it whenever it starts to get full and we need to start doing dishes. I'm going to try and set a general schedule that whenever she does dishes, either the next day or the day after, depending on when she started the dishes, to give them a little time to dry, because some places are far more difficult to dry than others. But either the day after or the next, depending on timing, I'm going to make myself do the dishes. Take them out, make sure it's prepared for the next time she needs to do them. And hopefully, this will allow for the sink to be a lot more clear so that I can fill up my dog's water container more consistently and not have to move shit every single time. Hopefully, it works out. I'm also going to set a schedule for when I should, at the very least, vacuum. I'm probably going to end up cleaning on most weekends, because why not? There's either that or I'm going to do it midweek while I'm also vacuuming. Still somewhat deciding on that. But I would like to, at the very least, schedule more things, because I gotta. I gotta. I'm only gonna improve by adding just a little bit more. I also got to schedule yard work, such as cleaning up dog poop and weeding, which, surprisingly enough, I haven't seen that many weeds this year. Aside from that, though, I'd say everything's going decently. uh, I am, other than my own mental problems and questions I have, I'm really not seeing any regressive behavior on the things I'm trying to work on, which is a very small list, admittedly. It's really only one or two things. But considering my own inability to stick to certain goals on other occasions, it actually does mean quite a lot to me that I am able to stick with it, especially with this. Uh, especially, like, it's starting to become a lot easier to just open up the camera and start talking, but especially starting it with, like, the first 4 videos, it was incredibly difficult to actually press the record button and even think about what I wanted to talk about. It's still difficult to think about what I want to talk about, considering a lot of it ends up leaving my mind if I don't think on it for a bit. But I end up talking about something anyway. It may not be what I wanted to, but oh well. Hopefully, and I will stay hopeful throughout this whole thing, hopefully, I am able to keep up everything. I'm able to keep up my goals, I'm able to develop a healthy schedule, and maybe, if I reached far enough, maybe not this year, but maybe next year, whenever, if I reach far enough, I can end up, well, excuse me, I can end up actually fixing my sleep schedule and properly, I guess, getting a life. But I guess that's for next video. See you next week.